Hi everyone, welcome to the Skeins of Dreams knitting podcast. I'm Megha. I'm also known as Skeins of Dreams on Instagram and on Ravelry. And this is the corner of YouTube where I share my knitting and making journey with all of you. Thank you so much for being here. If you're a new and or you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for checking out my videos. Thank you so much for all the love and support you've been giving me. I'm very, very thankful for this community. And before I get started, I want to acknowledge that um, the world has changed quite a bit since I last recorded. The situation in Ukraine, you're all aware about it, and of course, all the podcasters I've been watching as well have been addressing this issue of whether or not it makes sense to record a video. And I went through the same dilemma. I didn't have my mojo to record today, and I was wondering if I should be doing this. There are more important things happening that I should be focusing on. I'm a firm believer of the fact and the idea that we need to help ourselves sometimes to be able to help others. If I don't go to work, if I don't perform at work, or if I'm not earning money, there is no way I can be of any use to the people that are suffering. We are so lucky to be in a world where the world has become smaller because of social media. Like, we are able to send help either by contacting our political leaders, or by actually sending money to the people of Ukraine and helping them out in this situation. So we're definitely lucky that we live in a world that this is possible through social media, through the internet. And I will not be able to help anyone financially or even mentally if I'm not in that situation to be able to help others. And there are a lot of ways that we can help from across the world. And I had looked up a list of it basically, I went to NPR, which is the public radio here in the US, and NPR had given a list of organizations in Ukraine that are accepting donations to help the people on the ground level. So I'm gonna list that link in the description box, and you can go check out. And I know sometimes I also go through this dilemma whether when I'm sending money to a foundation or to an organization, is it really helping people at the ground level? So I know people have been coming up with very unique ways of sending money to Ukraine. Recently, I heard about people booking Airbnbs in Ukraine with no intention of going and staying, of course, but this is so that you can send money directly to the people. But I think we shouldn't limit ourselves to doing only one thing, because say we're sending to a family by booking their Airbnb, but there are other people who don't have an Airbnb and who have no other, maybe they don't have a presence on the internet. So in that situations, it makes sense to send money to the organizations who are at the ground level, helping out people there, and like giving them supplies and food and things like that. So what I've done is I've tried to donate to different places. Like, I have supported um, designers, for example, on Ravelry, who are Ukrainian and who have designs out. I've purchased yarn from Knitting for Olive, who had dedicated a whole day of sales, and they were sending the money to Red Cross in Ukraine. And then I also went to one of the foundations, I think Care Foundation, who are doing work at the ground level there, and I've donated a little to that. So I think I've kind of tried to distribute or try in different ways to do it, so that some way or the other, hopefully someone is getting the help that we're all sending. So basically, thank you so much for being such a supportive community. I know the knitting community has raised a lot of money for this cause, and as I said, you can find a link in the description box where I've listed the NPR website, the NPR mm, post a list which lists some organizations you could donate to. So yes, I really wanted to say that before I get started with all our knitting talk, which I do have a lot of. Also, I must mention that today's episode is very different in the fact that I have a paid promotion to talk about today. Back in January, Hobbii reached out to me and they wanted to send me a bunch of yarn and they wanted me to review the yarn. So I did receive their yarn, like I didn't pay for most of their yarn that they sent me, but all the reviews that I'm going to talk about, or whatever I'm going to talk about the yarn, is my own opinion, and I haven't been paid to, like, for my opinions. I have just been given the yarn, and I'm going to talk about a few of the yarns that I purchased. So the way they did it was they sent me a list of yarn that I could pick from, and they asked me to pick a few different yarn lines that they have, and so that I get like a good idea of what are the yarn lines that they offer, and then talk about those on the podcast. So it's been a while since I received the yarn, but I took some time in recording this review video, mostly because I wanted to actually work with the yarn before I gave a review. I mean, I didn't want it to be one of those yarn haul videos where I just show, oh, I've got all this yarn and it's amazing. I mean, which is completely fine to do if you're doing a yarn haul, but I thought it would be better if I worked with at least a few of their yarns and I was able to talk about them in terms of how they work up and things like that while doing the review video. So it's been a while since it's been a while since I received the yarn, but I had planned to record first week of March, and so I'm sticking to that schedule. I'm recording on the 6th of March, but the video has to go through Hobbie's approval process before it gets published. So I'm not sure which day it's gonna actually go live. So I'm not sure which day you're watching this, but just letting you know that I've recorded this on the 6th of March. It's a Sunday, late morning in Buffalo, where I am located, if I didn't mention that. So I think I've given enough of an introduction. I'm going to keep the format of the video the same. I'm going to talk about what I'm wearing and then what I've finished, and then during the works in progress section, I'll do the Hobbii yarn review, and I'm gonna put chapters on my videos like I always do. And oh yeah, I was supposed to announce a giveaway. I was supposed to announce 3 winners of the giveaway, so I'm going to do that as well, but I'm also going to put that as a chapter in the video, so you could skip forward to know if you've won. So yeah, so there's a lot to talk about. Thank you so much for being here, and let's get started. All right, let's start with what I'm wearing. So if you saw my 2021 sweater recap video, you've already seen this sweater, but I hadn't worn it on the podcast before, so I thought I'll wear this. And today it's not as cold for me to wear like a full sleeves sweater and everything. So I don't know if spring is here properly, but it's at least the temperature today is spring like, I guess. I'm not feeling too cold, so I decided to wear a t-shirt. So this is my Kivat tee. It's a pattern by Caitlin Hunter, who is Boylan Networks. Um, I think Caitlin designed this pattern last year for the Rose City Yarn Crawl. I think that's like a fiber festival that happens around this time of the year. I think it just finished. I mean, it already happened this year. But for last year's festival, Caitlin designed this pattern, and I test knitted it. And the original sample is in a superwash yarn, I believe, but this one I knit in Brooklyn Tweed Loft, which is a fingering weight yarn. So the pink is the camper colorway, that's the Brooklyn Tweed Loft, and the charcoal black is actually some stash Rama Phenol, like it's just a sport weight yarn that I had in stash. I'm gonna put a picture of me standing wearing this top, wearing this tee, but I'm not gonna stand up right now. I'm just wearing my joggers underneath below this, so I'm not gonna stand up and show you but if you've seen the previous video where I talk about my 2021 sweater makes, I have talked about this, and you can see me there, and you can see me like whatever, you can see the sweater on me and how it fits me and everything. I really like this make a lot. It has a lot of like lace detailing at the bottom, so you have some baubles, you have some lace, so the entire body is lace. It fits me really well. I like the way the yoke fits me. And yeah, I do like this sweater a lot. I do wish I had made it a little longer, but my plan for it this year is to actually make like a black dress that I can wear underneath it, and I can layer it, and I think it'll go perfectly with the dress. On my jeans, sometimes I find myself being very conscious of its length, but yeah, I'm planning to make a dress to go with it, and I wanted a simple black layering dress anyways, so I think it'll go with a lot of other sweaters that I have as well, like t-shirts or something that I can layer for the spring and fall season. I think I'd be too warm in it if I wore this in the summer. Like Buffalo summers can get quite hot, so I don't think I can wear this in the summer. So yeah, so that's what I'm wearing today. And I have I think 2 finished objects and a lot of works in progress to talk about, so let's get going. Also, I wanted to mention the blanket make along. Thank you so much for your interest in the blanket make along. A lot of people have joined in, and I think I'm really, really like, taken aback by the interest, but I'm so happy that everyone's bringing out their old works in progress and everyone wants to make blankets. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun over the duration of this year. And I'm planning prizes such as like every 3 months I'm going to have a prize. I'm going to have a big prize at the 6-month mark, and I'm going to have a big prize at the 12-month mark. So, and then in between, I'll have smaller prizes. And a lot of people have reached out, and they have offered, a lot of people, as in a lot of businesses, have reached out to offer some prizes for the make along, and I'm so thankful for all of those. I'm going to have to talk about the prizes in the next episode, just because there's so much happening in this episode. I am going to talk about it in the next time. But thank you so much for taking part in the make along. So I wanted to say that I'm hosting the make along on 3 platforms. Of course, you have the hashtags on Instagram. So the hashtag is hashtag blankets of dreams MAL, make along. And for finished objects, it's hashtag blankets of dreams MALFO. That's on Instagram. Ravelry, I have set up a group for the Skeins of Dreams podcast on Ravelry, so you can join the group and you can talk about the blanket make along or anything else you want to talk about. So I have created a group on Ravelry because a lot of you said that you like to use Ravelry, so I thought everyone should get what they want. So I do have a group going on Ravelry, and I also have a group going on Slack. So Slack is it's like a platform where you can chat with each other. I can even host like if you want to do a knit night or something, I can host that through Slack as well. But I haven't planned anything about a knit night. Maybe I'll do that a few months later. There's too much happening right now for me to think about that. But if you are interested in using Slack, all you have to do is let me know that you're interested in using Slack, and I will send you an invite link, and you can join Slack. And there's a lot of discussion going on Slack as well. So you can pick which platform you're comfortable with. I don't want to force anything on anyone. Please do note that, because there are so many, like, because there's the Ravelry group and the Slack group, I'm going to have to, manage both the groups a little bit, so I may be a little late in responding to messages. Please don't mind, but please feel free to share all your projects you're working on, either it's part of the blanket make along or not. Whatever you want to talk about, knitting related, you're very welcome to do that. There was something else I wanted to mention. Oh, yes. So I can be reached. Either you can leave a comment in the comment section here, or you can send me an email, and my email address is skeins-of-dreams-knits@gmail.com. So if you send me an email, let me know if you're having issues either accessing Slack or any other, you want to be part of the group but you're not able to find the link or anything. Just shoot me an email, I'll respond, and I'll send you all the required information. Thank you so much for participating in the make along. I'm having so much fun looking at all the projects popping up everywhere. It's a lot of fun to be hosting this make along, and I'm really thrilled that all of you are interested and participating in it. So yeah, thank you. So, my first finished object is something you haven't seen because I cast it on after I recorded the last time, and it's a pair of socks. So, I knit these plain vanilla socks for a friend's birthday. The birthday was on the 2nd of March, but I haven't given these to her yet. I'm gonna give these to her tomorrow when I go to work. I tried a lot to finish it by her birthday, but my week was very busy, and I'm gonna give a short life update at the end of the video so you'll know what I was busy doing. But if you follow me on Instagram, you already have an idea. But yeah, so this is a vanilla sock that I knit up. This yarn is by the Cozy Knitter, who's a Canadian dyer, and she has a lot of self-striping colorways, and I really, really like her yarn. This base is the Bliss base, which is an 80% merino, 20% nylon. And 80/20 is one of my favorite sock weights. I really like how plump it is, and it's very soft. But yeah, so this is the colorway is called Sun Kissed, and I do have the second sock as well. So the way this particular sock yarn came was basically you had 85 grams of the main color, and then you had 30 grams of a contrast color. So I mean, I had enough to do heels, toes, and cuffs maybe, but I get really lazy about using contrast yarn on socks because I have to weave in the ends and I have to cut the yarn, and I really get I really get lazy about doing that. So I usually end up doing just a contrast heel because I don't want to mess up, especially with the self-striping yarn. I don't want to mess up the stripe sequence or like the way the stripes are, the width of the stripes and everything. So the only place where I use the contrast yarn is usually the heel. I did a basic fish lips kiss heel. I've been meaning to try other heel types, but I haven't gotten to it yet. I'm lazy. So I know the fish lips kissed heel. I don't have to look up the pattern anymore. I just know it, so I just do it. But yeah, so I've knit a pair of socks. And that's my finished object. Did I mention that the colorway is called Sun Kissed? And I really like the Cozy Knitter yarn like their self-striping yarns a lot, and this is not the first time I think I've knit a few pairs before with this Bliss base, and I'm really happy with how this looks. It's a really fun sock, and I think I took a week and I finished it. I mean, I knew of the birthday since December. My friend had requested a pair of socks, but I had so many other projects. I didn't cast this on until the last minute, of course. But it's done, and I can give this to her tomorrow. I've already like washed it, and I don't really block socks on the sock blocker itself. I only use the sock blocker to like show or take pictures of the sock. But I do think that I don't feel like stretching them out when I'm drying them, so I just like wash them and then I just lay them like this on the drying rack. So I don't block the socks necessarily. I just wash them and dry them. So yep, that's my finished object number 1. My hair was really unruly today, so I tried to hold it together. I know this is the first time I'm doing this hairstyle. I hope it did not throw you off. Okay, so my next massive finished object is the StrangeBrew sweater I knit for Mr. Schemes of Dreams. So last time you saw, this was a work in progress. I had finished the yoke and I think I was knitting on the body. Since then I have finished the sweater, obviously, and Baljit has worn it already, and it looks really good. I'm very, very, very pleased with how this sweater turned out. So the pattern is the StrangeBrew pattern by TinCanKnits. It's a book, basically. The StrangeBrew is a book, and it gives you a recipe of designing your own colorwork sweater. It basically gives you 3 different gauges for like fingering, worsted, DK, or but I don't know. I think it's fingering, sport, and worsted or something like that. I'm sorry, I forgot. It gives you 3 gauges you can work with, and then it gives you the stitch counts for like the neck, for the division of the body and the sleeves, and like for each size and the size range. Of course, TinCanKnits patterns have an enormous size range. So, and you can they walk you through how to design your own colorwork sweater, like where should your colorwork lie, what should be the repeat, it should be a multiple of 2, 4, or 6, something like that, or it should be like a 10 row colorwork chart before you do your next set of increases. So it walks you through a lot of, sorry, there's something on my face. It walks you through a lot of those steps to design your own colorwork sweater, and I use that to come up with this design. And the reason I decided to do this was I was trying to make a sweater for Biljit, and the patterns that I was finding, they weren't very size inclusive. Especially the ones that he was liking were not size inclusive, and I really did not want to purchase those patterns where I'll only be able to knit him a sweater, but like they weren't size inclusive enough to actually have my size in it, or I was at the edge of the size range. So I don't know, I didn't like that. So I thought I could come up with sweater of my own, especially because I had the StrangeBrew pattern, like the book, for a while, and I'd never used it. So I thought I'd use it. And the inspiration for the sweater I mentioned in my last episode was that we go for a lot of trips to the mountains. We really enjoy doing that. We go for hikes. We just really like the serene atmosphere, and we really enjoy all our trips to the mountains. So I think this was just a little bit of a take on our trips, and then we have pine trees and we have snowflakes. So this is a very nice wintry sweater, and I used Brooklyn tweed shelter, which is the worsted weight yarn for it. This color is the Yellowstone colorway. It's a very earthy green, mossy green, and I really like this color. And the white, or the contrast color, is actually some Stash Brooklyn tweed loft, which is the fingering weight, same as this pink one, but I held it double to get the worsted gauge. So yep, so that's the sweater, and it's looking really good. I really like it. I'm gonna quickly, oh yeah, so I think I mentioned it in the last episode as well. I did short rows in the back. I did 2 sets of short rows before the yoke and 2 sets of short rows after the yoke, just to, distribute it a little bit. And I cast on before the color work, knit the color work, and then went and picked up the collar and knit the collar. Um, Other than that, I think it's pretty custom fit. I had Baljeet trying it on multiple times to make sure that it looked fine and that it fit fine. And I think for the body, I have some decreases so that the like the chest, the width at the chest is larger than at the bottom. I had decreases every 1 inch or something until it fit him properly. And of course, I kept trying it on him to get the length right and all of that. He's very happy with the sweater. He thinks it's the best sweater I've made him so far. um, the other thing I wanted to show you was the back. I've shown the back the last time, and it's nice to compare how the things look, how the knits look when you've blocked them versus when you've not blocked them. So this is the back of the color work. I've used the Ladderback Jacquard technique to catch my floats. And basically, what you're doing, and I've mentioned it before, is you're creating a stitch out of nowhere and then actually knitting that as a layer in the back. And it does not show your, when you catch your float, sometimes you can see it from the front. But this one, because you're basically knitting up, it's like almost double knitting, so you're knitting a fabric in the back as well. So you have 2 layers and you don't see the back from the front. I think my floats look really nice. Last time I showed you and some of them seem to lose and everything, but once you block it, it all evens out. I love blocking. Blocking is magic. Yeah, I think my tension was really good. You can actually see the pattern from the back as well, which is so cool. I didn't realize that until I'm actually holding it up for the camera. But that's how the back looks. Flashing your floats is a thing now. So yeah, that is the StrangeBrew sweater. I wanted to name it something, but I haven't come up with anything funny enough. But I did take quite a few notes for the sweater. I wanted to mention this chart. I put this chart up as an image in my Ravelry project page. And though this chart is specifically for Baljeet's size, which is the smallest in the men's size, um, because I was working with a different gauge, I cast on the smallest sweater, which is, I think the size was 37.5 inches. And it actually gave me a finished measurement of 42 inches, which is what Baljeet wears. So I had to do some math to figure that out. But I have the chart as an image in my Ravelry project notes if you'd like to use it for anything. I know the chart is very specific to the smallest size, so if you want to make a different size but you want help with adjusting the chart to a larger size, let me know and I can work with you to help you figure out how the chart would work for a different size. So, yeah, that's the StrangeBrew sweater, and it's a massive finished object. I know, I'm very happy with it, and I hope it lasts him a really long time. His cuffs do tend to get frayed easily, so I have leftover yarn which I'm going to save. So anytime I need to fix something, I have the same yarn left over. So yeah, that's my StrangeBrew sweater, and it's done. So I don't think I have any other finished objects. I think it's time to move on to my works in progress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about my other works in progress first, and then I'm going to talk about the Hobbii Yarn review, and that'll be part of the works in progress as well. Alright, let's start with my works in progress. Before I get going on my new cast on, and yes, I have a new cast on, I'm gonna give a quick update on my Marie Wallin sweater. So, I'm not gonna talk in too much depth. I've spoken about this multiple times. I'm working on the Sinead pattern by Marie Wallin. And the last time I showed it to you, this is the sleeve, and I was somewhere in this green section. I have finished the color work for the sleeve, and I'm supposed to now do a little bit with the main color. So my main color is this very beautiful brown. So I'm supposed to, like, this is how much color work I was supposed to do, and then I'm supposed to do a few rows in the main color. And but what happened is, I think my row gauge is different, because I had to size down on the needle size to get the stitch gauge. And what has happened because of that is my sleeve is not as long as it's supposed to be. So if I try this on for you, this looks so cute. So if I try this on for you, my sleeve is ending here, but I think it's supposed to be at least 3 inches longer. So while this looks extremely nice, and I can't stop staring at it, while this looks extremely nice, it's not as long as it's supposed to be. So I'm going to have to be a little creative and add a few colorwork motifs to the sleeve. So my plan is to add a another color to the whole thing. I have another it's like an amber orange color that will go really well with this color palette, because I don't want to use any of these colors because I may run out of them when I'm actually doing the body. Because if the sleeve is having row gauge issues, of course the body will have row gauge issues, and which means I will have to lengthen the body as well. So I'm going to add another color to the top, and I'm thinking I might repeat some of these motifs at the top again before I actually start working with the main color. So I'm working on this project. I have not given up. I don't think I spoke about it in the last episode, so I wanted to give a quick update, but that's where I am with my Marie Wallin sweater. It's called the Sinead, and I'm making it in a bunch of stash yarn. I bought a few skeins of the main color and one or two colors here or there in Bichet Bouche. So most of it is in Bichet Bouche, but like some colors are holst super soft. There is a little bit of too cool fingering here. This brown is the whole super soft. The white is just Bichet Bouche fingering, Le Petit lamb's wool, like this one. 100% lamb's wool. So I'm really enjoying working on this sweater, but now that I have to actually use my head and do something over here to extend the length, my progress has slowed down a little. But I have not forgotten about it, and I'm going to work on it. So that was a quick update on my Marie Wallin sweater. And I actually cast on a whole new fully colorwork sweater because I'm very much in the mood for colorwork. And I recently have been binge watching the podcast which is called Mel Makes Stuff. Melissa is a beautiful, so talented, such an amazing, prolific knitter, and I really love her podcast because of the way she talks about her knitting. She goes into so much depth about each project, about her yarn choices, about the modifications, and she makes amazing sweaters. She makes Marie Wallin sweaters. She makes I think she's working on a sweater in the vintage Shetland book. She's working on a sweater which is the Gudrun Johnston sweater everyone's knitting, Wear. It's called the Wear, from her Shetland Trader book. So Mel works on a lot of beautiful colorwork sweaters, and I was binge watching Mel's videos, and of course I had sudden craving for more colorwork. Not that I needed it. Of course, I was working on the Marie Wallin. I could have just worked on that. But no, I really wanted to cast on another sweater. So, for a really long time, I've been wanting to knit the Marit cardigan. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, and I forgot to look up the pronunciation of the word. But I think it's a pattern by Kristin Drysdale, and it was published in a Liner magazine. Now it's available, of course, individually on Ravelry. So I've been wanting to knit that cardigan forever, and it's a steeked colorwork cardigan in fingering weight yarn. So it's a fully colorwork cardigan, of course, and I was up for the challenge. So I cast on, and here is what I have so far. I'm knitting this again in, I have the, so when I saw the pattern years ago when it came out, or I mean, at least 2 years ago, I've seen the pattern, I think. I had bought yarn for it, but I never cast on. So I'm knitting it in Jamieson and Smith Shetland. Oh, I think, sorry, I'm fumbling. Some of it is GNS Spindrift and some of it is the 2-ply jumper weight. I always get confused because I know there are two different yarn lines, but they're practically the same, I believe. So this main color is GNS Spindrift in the color Pebble, and I'm gonna have to list the names of the colors on the screen here, or I'll link it to my Ravelry project page and you can check it out there. But I'm doing this in a beautiful teal contrast, and then I have some very bright salmon pink. Now, originally I had wanted to do it in just these two colors. So I wanted to do this green and I wanted to do this salmon pink. But when I started knitting this, I realized that this salmon pink is going to repeat so many times during this, over this length of the sweater, that I'm going to feel it's too bright. I don't know. I know I love color, but it just seemed like a little too bright to me. So I was thinking and thinking what to do. Should I rip back? Should I change the second contrast color? But then I got an idea that I'm just going to subdue it by adding a third color. So I've added this beautiful gold color. Where's my skein? So this is the color that I'm using. This is actually Holst Super Soft in the color Gold Pressed. And I'm very happy with how that's looking with the green and the salmon pink. And I think what I'm going to do is have more of this gold color repeat. Like I'm going to do like this gold is going to come up 3 times before the next salmon color repeat comes. So I'm going to make sure that the sweater has more of the gold than the salmon, so that the salmon is just like a color pop at places. But I'm super pleased. This is my steek and it looks very pretty. Yeah, it's being knit bottom up. I did have some trouble picking the sizes because I'm kind of in between two sizes, and I picked the larger size because I thought that this is a drop shoulder type design, so I think the larger size would be good, especially around the bust. But now I'm having second thoughts. I'm thinking that it might be too wide, like, you know, it's going to be too wide on me. So I'm thinking, because I do have a bigger hip circumference anyway, I'm thinking if I should add some decreases just under the arm and reach a stitch count which is in between the two sizes. So I think there's one, so it might not fully finish the color work repeat, but it'll fit better. So if there is a decrease under the arm, it might not be as visible and it might not be noticeable, but the sweater is just gonna fit me better. So I'm kind of in a dilemma if I should just like let it be the size it is, or if I should size down. So I mean, I really don't feel like ripping back, so I could leave this and then start adding decreases, so it's a gradual decrease. I and I just started thinking about all of this yesterday. So I don't know. I'm gonna think a little more about it. I know one project I've seen. Somebody, what they did was they knit it, but they felted it on purpose, so that the fabric becomes like dense, not denser, but like it fills all the gaps and everything. It felts the sweater, but then the gauge becomes smaller. Of course, it becomes a tighter gauge because you felted it. But I don't know if I want to try that on a whole sweater. And of course, I didn't swatch because this gauge is the same as the Marie Wallin gauge, like the gauge I'm knitting on, not the actual gauge. But I knew what gauge I get with fingering weight yarn and US 2.5 needles. I don't know what 2.5 is in millimeters. It's 3 millimeter needles. So I know what gauge I get in fingering weight yarn with 3 millimeter needles. So that's why I just cast on without actually doing a swatch. But if I want to felt it, I may just want to knit a small swatch that I can felt as a practice felting. But I don't know. I don't know if I really want to felt it. Maybe I'll just add the decreases and have it fit a little better on top. If it's a little looser around the bottom, it's fine. I mean, I'm not looking for a very fitted garment. This will be more of a relaxed fit. That Sinead sweater, the one I was talking about before, this is definitely going to be a fitted sleeve at least, not the body. So when the body has more ease, I feel the sleeves need to be fitted. So even this, like even though the body will have more ease, I'm going to make the sleeves fitted so that it doesn't look odd. So yeah, but I cast on the Marit and I'm very happy with how it's turning out. It's got a very spring feel to it and I'm really enjoying that. I'm going to see if I have the balls. Yeah. So this is the main contrast color and this is the second contrast color. And of course I added the gold to it. So these are my 3 contrast colors. So that is another work in progress. Now, to begin talking about my third work in progress, I'm going to start the Hobbii Yarn review. Alright. So, like I said, Hobbii sent me a list of yarns that they could send me, and I was supposed to pick a few that gave me a good idea about what their yarn lines are. And I picked a few, and here are the yarns. So I know there's a lot to go through, and I'm going to talk about it. So what I will do first is actually insert a short video here where I show you the Hobbii website and how I picked yarn. So let's go watch that video. So we are here on Hobbie's website. There are a lot of options on the first page, but what I typically do is I go to the yarn section, I scroll through the filters and say I want to buy mohair. So I go to the mohair option. So these are all the options. I think there are other brands that Hobbii supports other than the regular Hobbii brands. Oh, Hobbii has a kid silk option. I didn't see that. I bought this. I mean, I got some of the Diablo to try because I really wanted to try this option. So there is all this information about the yarn. Looks like they don't have a lot of colors in stock right now, but this is pretty neat. Oh, that color does not look like this color. Is it this one? That's interesting. Okay, so then the other thing I really like is if I go to the patterns tab, it lists a few patterns that use this yarn. These are quite a bit. So if I pick this one, for example, I can, oh, it's a free pattern, so I can download this for free. And then I can add things that I need to make this sweater. So the yarn, the needles, some notions. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. And it says shipping is from $10, free shipping above $99, and delivery in 6 to 12 business days. This is what I've experienced as well, the 6 to 12, sorry. And then the other thing I wanted to show was, say we add, oh, this is one yarn that I wanted to try. This is the Hobbii Divina, 65 alpaca, 25% polyamide, and some wool. If you buy larger quantities, there is some discount. That's pretty cool. So this is something I want to try in the future. I like the fluffiness of this yarn. Looks good for next time. Yep, so that is Hobbie's website. Okay, so now that we've seen the website, I'm gonna walk through some of the yarns that I picked for this review, and I'm gonna talk about how they're priced and things like that. So, what should we do first? Okay, so the first yarn I'm gonna talk about is this rainbow 100% cotton yarn. I got 3 skeins of this cotton yarn. It's 100% cotton. It's a fine weight. I think it's super fine weight is what they call it. This 50-gram ball has 186 yards, and it's priced at $1.40. So it's pretty like affordable. Most of the Hobbii yarns, I would say, are pretty affordable. They are definitely a commercial yarn line. Like, it's, I wouldn't compare it with indie dyed yarn, of course. It's a more commercial line. So yeah, so this was the cotton I picked, and I got 3 colors in it. And honestly, when I was ordering it, I didn't realize this was super fine weight, because I thought I'd make dishcloths with it, but I really don't want to knit dishcloths with a super fine yarn. So what I did was I held this pink and yellow together, and I knit up a dishcloth. I'm very happy with this dishcloth. I mean, this is 100% cotton. I think this will be a very hard-wearing dishcloth to use. The way I knitted, I mean, I didn't really follow a pattern. I did a corner-to-corner rectangle. Now I know we usually do corner-to-corner squares, but I don't like a square dishcloth. I feel like I can't hang it over something, and I like having rectangular dishcloths. I don't know. I'm picky like that. So I actually started at a corner, and if you can see, I added some short rows to actually make it a rectangle. Now it's not a proper rectangle because it's like a parallelogram or whatever, but I'm very pleased with the drape of this, and I think the feel is quite sturdy, and I think this is going to last me quite a bit. I mean, I'm going to be able to use it for quite a while. So yeah, so I think the cotton yarn was successful. I would actually even make a garment in this. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about summer knits and everything, and if I want to make 100% cotton tee, I would definitely use this yarn. I do have to see how it washes, because sometimes when you wash cotton, it loses its shine. Like, it becomes it looks like a rag, which is okay with dishcloths because they're technically literally a rag, but I don't like that on my garments. So I have not washed it, and usually the way I wash dishcloths is actually throw it in with the laundry. So I wash it in the machine and then dry it in the dryer, so it does go through like a harsh drying cycle. But if I were to knit a garment, maybe I wouldn't put it in the dryer, but then cotton takes a long time to dry. So I don't know. I mean, I do really like it for a dishcloth. I'm gonna have to think whether I want it for a garment. So that was yarn line number 1. The second one I want to talk about, okay, did I mention? Oh yeah, I have the prices. I have a price list here for all the yarns, and because I'm a garment knitter, when I start coming to the garment, like the sweater quantities of yarn I got, I'm going to talk more about how the yarn is priced. But for, I mean, cotton and everything, I don't think we buy a sweaters quantity. So, I mean, $1.40 is as good as any commercial cotton yarn that you can get. So I do quite like it. So I would definitely buy it again if this is the first time I'm doing a review video, so I'm not sure if I'm doing it properly, but you're 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 getting my honest review. So the next yarn I want to talk about, and I'm going to look for the ball band. It's called Atlas. It's Hobbie's sock yarn. So this is a 75% superwash wool, 25% polyamide. This yarn retails at $13.50. Of course, because I'm in the US, I'm talking in US dollars. And I bought this colorway. It's got magentas, purples, and blacks. But when you see it in the ball like this, I really didn't know how the sock would knit up. So I made a really tiny swatch because I had the other sock I was knitting. I don't really want to knit on 2 socks at the same time, so I waited to finish that and then I knit up a small swatch. I know it's very tiny because I'm still knitting it, but can you see? Yeah, so I think now you can see it better. So the colors pool on this. So this is how the whole sock is going to be, which I don't mind at all. It looks really nice. It's a very nice yarn to work with. It definitely works up like your favorite commercial line of yarn. I do think that the polyamide, it's a very it's a fine yarn because it's 75-25, and it's definitely sturdy. Like I would compare it to a commercial sock yarn, and I do expect it to wear like, you know, where you can wear it quite a bit before it actually wears out. So yeah, so the colors do pool. That's my little swatch as I showed it before. Can you? Yep. I mean, it's a very nice sock yarn, so I'm happy with that. I do know that a lot of podcasters, a lot of knitters are looking for no nylon sock yarn, and there's a whole trend going on that. I haven't really caught on to the trend yet. I don't mind nylon in my socks. I do feel that I would rather the socks last a longer time, and I wear my socks very rough. Like I wear them in my boots, I wear them in shoes, I wear them all day long. So I don't mind that my socks last a little longer. I do like the fit of hand knit socks, so I do like to knit a lot of socks. I have a lot of socks. So I'm gonna add this to my sock drawer. Yes. So that is Atlas Happy Feet. And like I said, it retails at $13.50, and it definitely wears or feels like a commercial sock yarn, so I'm expecting that this will wear really well. So that's yarn number 2. And then I got this very pretty 100% wool line called Dream Color. Look at that. It's a very, very beautiful yarn. This is 100% wool, and I'm not kidding, it's very soft. I really, really like it. Like you could make a sweater in this and it wouldn't be itchy at all. It just says 100% wool. It does not say if the wool is superwash or not. But I'm sure if we reach out to Hobbii, they'll be able to answer that question for us. Because the sock yarn, the label said 75% superwash wool. So this one did mention superwash. and this one does not really say that. It just says 100% wool. So I'm thinking it's not superwash, but it's very soft and I really like the colors. So this is one color that I got, and this is the other one. So this one actually, if you see, it has some yellows and pinks and blues, and it almost has a hand spun like appearance. I think it will knit up really like a gradient. And the reason I didn't actually open this or start working with this is I have been trying to figure out what I want to knit with this. I was thinking I could make a hat in this one, like the muscle bra hat. Everyone's knitting the muscle bra hat, so I was thinking I could knit that in the green. But this one, because of all these variations and variegations or whatever, I'm sorry, I can't remember the word, because of all this gradient, I'm thinking if I use this as a contrast color for a colorwork yoke, like have a white sweater say as the main color and then put this as the contrast, I think that's going to look really nice. I think the yarn has hand spun kind of appearance. Of course, it's not hand spun at all, and it's very, very soft. I really like this line. So I'm trying to think hard about what I want to knit with it, because I don't want to just waste it on something. I really like this color. So I'm thinking I might do colorwork yoke with this. Yep. So that's Dream color, and this retails for $8.70. So, and it's like 100% wool, 100 grams has 437 yards or 400 meters. So I think if I have 4 balls of this, which will cost me a little over $32, this is a sweater's quantity. Like if I have 4 skeins of this, I can make a sweater out of it in my size. 1600 yards or so, I can easily make a sweater. And it's definitely soft enough to do that. I don't know how it wears. I don't know about the pilling and everything because I've not knit with it. But yeah, so I'm really happy with the colors and it's very soft. So I'll keep you posted on what I end up doing with this. And this one is definitely becoming a hat. I think that it will look nice as a muscle bra hat, and I really want to knit that hat, and I think this would be really warm because it's 100% wool. So, and it's very soft, so it won't have any scratchiness on your forehead. So yeah, so that's the Dream color yarn. That's yarn number 3. And then I got this really big skein of cotton acrylic blend. Twister, it's called. It's 55% cotton, 45% acrylic. Now it has a gradient from this beautiful teal to this magenta. And I don't know what I was thinking when I got this, when I ordered it, because it's a very fine yarn. So original idea, because it's a 55 cotton, 45 acrylic, original idea was to make it like a blanket or like a throw, maybe a baby blanket. But because it's super fine, I really don't want to knit it by itself. I want to hold it double. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I'll buy another Hobbii yarn or I'll just buy another cotton yarn or see if I have something in stash which will be neutral so it doesn't mess with the gradient. But say white, I would hold this double with a white and then crochet a baby blanket. I think that's my plan for this. I do really like the feel of it. It's very soft. It would definitely be a great option for a baby blanket. And it actually has a thing in the center, so you can start from here. So they've put a tag on like the other end. Okay, sorry, that was Oreo. He dropped a bunch of boxes, hence all the noise. So yeah, this is color number 41. So a lot of the colors on the ball band itself don't have the names of the color, but when you look on the website, they have some names. So yeah, so this is the twister, and of course this retails at $21 right now, but this is they are having a sale, I think. So the way the website reads is it reads $37.40. They've striked it out and put 21. So now I don't know if this is only temporarily available for $21 or do they always have a sale going. So I'm not sure about that, but it's a 1094 yards, so it's a pretty massive skein. Like there's a lot of yarn, but of course it's all super fine, so I'm not sure I want to knit a blanket. A blanket in this weight of yarn would be very drapey and very nice, but it's just a lot of work. I don't think I can do that. So I'm this is a very, very pretty color. I do want to hold it with a white throughout and then do like corner to corner, either knit a blanket or crochet a blanket, at least a baby blanket. I don't know if 1094 yards is going to give me a blanket big enough for using. Okay, Oreo is kneading on Baljit's sweater and I must stop him. He finds all these woolly sweaters and he starts kneading on them, and which is fine and cute and everything, but I don't want them felting from all the agitation. Does it really felt if there's no water involved? I don't know. Sorry, I was talking about the twister and I think I covered everything about it. I do like the feel of it. It's very pretty and it has a lot of beautiful colors on the website if you want to go check it out. So yeah, so that was yarn number 4. Let me count here. So the next yarns I got, there was a whole confusion about it. So I wanted to try some yarn. So let me back up. Hobbii has a lot of cotton, acrylic, and their blends. A lot of acrylic yarn is on their website. So I understand that it might not be for everybody, those especially who like to work with natural fibers. But I work with everything and I believe that all fiber content has its own place. Like I would never gift a blanket to someone which was made with 100% wool, especially when I know that they are not knitters or they don't know how to take care of it. And for example, if I was gifting something to an Indian family, and we don't have hot weather in cold weather in India, so I would gift something cotton acrylic or something that could be put in your washer and something like that. So I did want to try a good sample of the Hobbii yarns to be able to give a good review about it. So I did pick out some cotton acrylic. I did 100% wool. I'm a sock knitter, so I did sock yarn. And then I am majorly, you all know, a garment knitter. So I had to do a sweater's quantity of something. So I had heard about Hobbii Diablo. Now this is a mohair yarn, but this does not have any silk content in it. This is 30% mohair, 30% nylon, and 40% acrylic. So it does not have any silk, but it does have some 30% mohair, and everyone's knitting with mohair, and you've seen I've been knitting with mohair, so I really wanted to try out this yarn, especially because it's very affordable. I wanted to hold the Diablo with 100% wool line. So Hobbii has this wool line called Evergreen, which is 100% organic wool. This is a commercially produced wool for sure. It says 100% organic. You can tell that it's like, I'm not sure how to put it in words. Like, it definitely is one of the big brand 100% wool yarns. It's not similar to if you buy yarn from a mill, for example, from a small batch producer, that yarn definitely feels different. This one, you know that you're buying it from a big brand. Um, I don't have anything against this. This is a very nice, it feels soft enough. It's a very nice yarn. I'm just not like, you know, awed by it. Like, it's not super amazing or anything. It's nice. I mean, I would knit with it. I have it and I'm going to use it. I'm not sure how it wears because I'm only just now knitting the sweater, so I'm not sure how the yarn will wear. So this retails for $7.30 for one ball. I do like the Diablo more than I like this. I do like this because I think it's soft and I think it's affordable, and it feels, when I'm knitting with it, it feels like other mohair that I've worked with. So I feel like, okay, this is comparable to the other yarns that I've knit, but this I don't feel the same about. Okay, so my phone actually cut me off while I was in the middle of the video. I don't know what happened. Maybe the length of the video was too long. So what I was saying was I had ordered this sand colorway in the evergreen, and I had ordered sand colorway in the Diablo as well. But when I had ordered in January, the in Diablo sand was not available. So what they did was they actually sent me this lilac color. They didn't realize that I was planning to hold the mohair with the evergreen. So they sent me the lilac in the mail, and then they realized that I wanted to hold these two yarns together, and they don't really go together. So then they asked me to reorder a Diablo colorway which would go with this. Now, I don't know what happened. I didn't really look at the colors properly on their website or whatever, or my brain wasn't working. I ended up getting this gray to go with the sand. Now, these two really don't go together, and I didn't realize that until I got the yarn. And then I ended up with this one, and like, this was not really working out. So initially, I thought I would make a sweater with these two held together, like it could be just a mohair sweater. But then I got an idea that maybe I should order yarn from the website, and that would also be part of the review of the website, because the yarn that was sent to me for the review came by FedEx and it came to me really quickly. But I wanted to experience what it would be like to actually order from the website directly and see how much time it takes for the yarn to get here. So then what I ended up doing was going on their website and ordering evergreen again, but in this light gray color. And it actually cost me $9.99, so $10 to ship the yarn to the US. And it arrived in 2 weeks. It arrived more like slower than the review yarn came, because that was by FedEx, but this was by USPS, so United States Postal Services. So this one arrived in 2 weeks' time, and hence once I got this light gray, and I'm sorry it's like blowing out and everything, but it goes well with this. So I decided, okay, I can hold these two together, so now I can cast on my sweater. But then I was looking at this lilac and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with the lilac. Should I give it to somebody? What should I do with it? So then I decided, you know what? I'm gonna hold these three together and make a kind of a chunkier sweater which will be warmer. And I think this would, and I thought that this would look good with the gray because they're in the, you know, cooler color family. So I decided that I'd make a sweater with these three yarns held together. So then I was looking for a sweater pattern to cast on. I wanted something fairly simple, but with some texture. So I found the Nelly sweater, which is a pattern by Gregoria Fibers. I'm gonna put a picture of the Nelly sweater here. And I decided that this is what I'm gonna cast on. So I cast on this beautiful Nelly sweater in those three yarns held together. And this is giving me a very nice gray, silvery kind of a fabric. I'm very pleased with how this is looking. There is texture in this just because of twisted stitches. It's a simple raglan, but it has like a 3x1 rib, and the stitches are also twisted. So it's giving a very nice textured look, and I really like this detail of the raglan, that you do some twisted stitches for the raglan detail, and it has a high neck. It's a simple raglan, so I'm going to divide for body and sleeves and then just knit the sleeves and the body. I'm using this as a slow project which I'm taking to work. I'm knitting on this during lunch hour when I have like half an hour or 1 hour to knit. That's when I'm knitting on this sweater. I'm really enjoying the pattern. It's a very simple pattern, very classic sweater, and I think this will look really nice with like blue jeans. I think the outfit would look really very smart. So I'm very excited, and I'm glad I ended up holding those 3 yarns together. And because of the 2 mohairs, it's like very fuzzy, very soft, and I'm really enjoying how the fabric is turning out. Now, because I received so much yarn from Hobbii, and then I ended up buying more to make the right sweater quantity and everything, I felt bad about having so much yarn to begin with. So I was thinking I could do a giveaway to give some of the yarn. But when I did my last giveaway, I ended up spending a lot of money on shipping. So this time what I've decided is I calculated the total amount of money I would have spent if had I purchased all the Hobbii yarn myself. And what I'm going to do is, because I really have trouble accepting things for free, I'm gonna pick a winner from the comments of this video. Please leave a comment. There is no prompt, just leave any comment you feel like. I'm going to pick 2 winners. Each of the winners is going to get a $25 gift certificate for the Hobbii website, and the balance money I'm going to donate to the situation in Ukraine. So that's what I'm planning to do. And please leave a comment. I know some of you will be like, oh, you don't really have to do that, and all of that, but I really have trouble accepting things for free, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna share it with all of you as well. So leave a comment and in the description box, and then in the comment section, and then in the next video that I record, I'm gonna pick 2 winners for gift cards to the Hobbii website. Yeah, so that's my Nelly sweater. I'm very happy with it. And that was the end of my Hobbii yarn review. And let me know what you thought about it. I'm not a professional reviewer. I don't know if I did justice to this whole thing, but you definitely got my honest opinion on everything. And I really enjoyed sampling Hobbii's yarn line, because I had never worked with them before. I had never worked with the yarn before, so it was very interesting to actually get yarn for review purposes. So I had to think of it more consciously than I would have any other purchase. So yeah, so let me know what you thought. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching this really long video. I also have to pick the giveaway winners for the giveaway I was hosting in my last episode. So hold on, I'm gonna go get the winners of the giveaway. Okay, I have the winners of the giveaway I was hosting in my last episode. The first winner is Ellie Cleesby. Sorry if I'm butchering your name, but Ellie, thank you so much for leaving such a wonderful comment. I'm going to gift you a pattern from your Ravelry favorites, and also the Starlight Cowl by Hannah of Yarnia Designs. Congratulations! The other 2 winners are Malene Kiar. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, but I try to look up the pronunciation of Malene, but I think there's a Brazilian and a Danish pronunciation, and I got really confused. But I do know that the Kiar last name is a Danish last name. Sorry. Please let me know how to pronounce your name. I'm really sorry I'm butchering it, but I'm gonna put the name on the screen here so you'll know. So congratulations. And then the third winner is Jackie Ferguson. Thank you so much for leaving such lovely comments. I really enjoyed reading about what everyone's working on, and definitely added to my queue. People are working on such beautiful projects, and I feel like I need to cast on everything. But yeah, thank you so much for watching the video. I really, really appreciate all of you for all your support and encouragement. I have a lot of fun recording these videos. Oh, I completely forgot to give you my life update. The reason I have been super busy last couple of weeks is because we closed on our first home and we will be moving in the month of April. So, Baljeet and I are actually moving to Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. So, we last whole month went in traveling back and forth to Pittsburgh for the house, looking at houses, placing our offers, doing all the paperwork, and we have finally closed on it. So, we are proud owners of our first home. So, I've been kind of busy with that. That's why my brain is all over the place. And I completely forgot about it until the end. So yeah, so thank you so much for being patient with me. And if you follow me on Instagram, you have already seen a picture of me and Baljeet in front of the house. So thank you so much if you've sent me comments over Instagram and for all your well wishes. I will be moving in April, so the schedule of the podcast will have to adjust, but I'm going to have a yarn room and I'm going to have my own space to record. So I'm really, really excited about that. And of course, I will keep you updated on everything that's happening. And once we move, I'm going to record from the new house, so I'm very excited about that. I'm already planning painting one of the rooms like an accent wall so I can sit against it and podcast like that. Apparently our new house is all about my yarn and knitting podcast. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and keeping and sticking with me while I recorded this haphazard video. Like I said, stay safe, take care, please help the situation in Ukraine if you're able to, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. Happy crafting. Bye.